Well, hello and welcome. My game is cancelled. Yep, that's right. For those of you who have seen my last two videos showcasing the progress on my Pong-like game, would know that it's been a while since I posted an update, and I had to take the executive decision to quit making the game.
But why? It's a Pong game, man. It shouldn't be that hard to make.
You might be wondering. First of all, how dare you? It's not just a Pong game. It's well, that's the thing. I wasn't quite sure if what it was for the longest time, and trying to find a video to make since it's been quite some time since I made one, I decided to dive deep into why I canceled the project and what were the reasons that are keeping me from working further on this game, and share my experience in the hopes that maybe you might find it useful and avoid the mistakes that I made. And starting off with the first mistake I realized that I was making, and it's that same one that I mentioned before, is that I knew I wanted to make a game with the core mechanics of Pong, but I also wanted to add a twist to it, and that twist just kept changing throughout me working on the game. Whatever idea popped into my head is what I wanted to try out. And at the beginning, it started alright. I thought, well, I'll just make a Pong game with the mechanics of a breakout game, also just combine the two genres and see what comes out. While doing so, some problems arose, like I wanted the game to be somewhat fast-paced and make it more intriguing for the player to, be responsive with their controls, but adding those blocks in the center of the level just kind of forced the players to avoid the opposing player, and it just removed the feeling of being competitive, like you weren't actually competing against the player that was on the other end. It was actually just focusing who can break the most blocks, and it didn't seem as competitive to me, and it's not what I was initially going towards. I was also troubled when thinking of what kind of theme would fit with this kind of game. I wanted to make something interesting and not just slap some colored blocks and call it a day and have that be the art style. And I kind of wanted to challenge my artistic skills, and I even sketched out some concepts of some squares with some goofy faces that would react to the ball, and just to try to make the game feel more alive and have it breathe. But then I realized that if I were to make each block a living creature, essentially, I would have to make that block big enough to be perceived as a living creature, right? Because you can't see all that detail from that far away. This in turn made the game suffer because there'd be less blocks in the game, and it'd just be, let's just break, like 6-7 blocks and we're done with the game. And the vision of the game just kept changing also, and I settled on this elevator pitch along the lines of imagine Pong but with Super Smash Bros. Items, which, to be honest, that would be what I would pursue if I hadn't stopped working on this project. Which leads me to mistake number 2, which is no version controlling. The project was already a mess when I realized what I actually wanted to do and what I wanted this game to be. The thing is that I was working on this system to handle players' interaction through Rewired's input system, and also AI movement and all this other stuff that, to be honest, was unnecessarily complex. And I could have just, dealt with good old Unity's input manager or input system. And by the time I realized that I'm making this way too complex, it was already too late, because most of it was already integrated with the rest of the code, and it would have been insane to just try to remove it all from there. I just wish there was that option to go back to a previous version of the game. And mistake number 3, it kind of goes with what the first point was, which was, whatever I thought I wanted to make the game is what I was going to do, and it just kept changing. Well, mistake number 3 is I kept overscoping some stuff for some crazy reason. And because while I was working, I just had this crazy idea, and I was thinking, an
all-out paddle royale, 20 paddles, last paddle standing.
This was by far the dumbest idea that I had. Just saying it out loud makes me want to start 3 new game projects and not finish any of them on purpose. This really hindered my progress since I was programming all the paddle's movement and interaction with the idea in mind. Instead of just moving the paddle on the y-axis like normal Pong does, it was moving along a path, and I would later place those paths in a what is a 20-sided in an icosog. Hold on.
Icosagon.
It was a dumb idea, I know. And after almost a month of development, these problems just drained me, I was not motivated to work on this at all, and all consistency just stopped existing. And without a clear vision of the game, like, all these mistakes just snowballed into the last one, which is mistake number 4. There was no long-term planning, or really any planning at all. I just think of a feature and just try to hack at it. And this is really bad if you ever want to get a game out, you gotta plan some stuff and have probably like a set date of when you're expecting to release the game. Honestly, I didn't even know how long it was gonna take because I didn't even know what I wanted to make. Now, I'm looking into a lot of project planning, and there's this really nice Reddit post that I saw that I was reading the other day, and I'll link it in the description. It's about planning your game and staying motivated to get it finished. It's a really good read. I'd really recommend it. So what's next, you might be asking? Well, I already have an idea for a game that makes me feel more invested in it already, and I really want to make this actually happen. Unlike the Pong game, it was just to make a game, and I wasn't that interested in it, to be honest. But I feel like this one is actually going to be a good game, and I won't go into too many details of what it is about, but I'm already working on a prototype. I might make a devlog next week or something, I don't know. Also, I have a tutorial series in mind that I'm going to start recording for beginner Unity users that should help people make their first game. And apart from that, I'm going to be participating in the community game jam that's hosted by Brackeys and Blackthorn Prod and other amazing game dev YouTubers. So stay tuned for that. I might post an update on whatever I make. And thank you for making it this far into the video. If you want to see more of this, please subscribe. I'll make sure to be making more videos. And let me know any thoughts you had. Maybe something I missed out and I could improve. And thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day.